to order. Please stand for the salute to the flag. Freeholder Sebo, will you please lead us in the salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Clark.
Here.
Freeholder Gill.
Here.
Freeholder Johnson.
Here.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Owens.
Here.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Here.
Freeholder President Watson.
Here. Okay, Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, let's move to the public comment session. Do we have anyone from the public who would like to comment at this time? Please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary. My name is Mary Hogan. I live at 34 Dassing Avenue, and that's in the West Ward, and it's in the area of South Orange Avenue. And I'm coming here just to find out some information. I have a complaint about South Orange Avenue and the Pabst Blue Ribbon area. It seems that I can't get anybody to come out to help us with that area. It looks like a war zone over there, and they're telling me that's part of Essex County. So is there anything that can be done? A house or a bar was knocked down. It was leveled out. Now it's all dirt dumping, and it's not that dirt that came from the house itself. And the same thing with Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's not the Pabst Blue Ribbon that all that pile of dirt up. It is up so high that when I come outside, I mean, I have no joy in my area, and I've been in that area for 35 years. And I'm trying to come to Board of Freehold to see if anything can be done with that area, even if they just leveled out, but they're dumping. When they tore down the building on Central Avenue, I watched the guys haul in dirt after dirt, trucks after trucks, and just pile up the dirt there. And I spoke to someone who I saw him dumping, had a man dump back up to this area, dump out of the truck. And when I spoke to him, his name is Johnson, he said he's from the sheriff and he's some kind of inspector, that they gave them permission to dump that. So I'm trying to find out who owns that area, how much do the freeholders have control over any parts of South Orange Avenue and that area. When you go by, you can't help but wonder, why do we have to live like this? My taxes is over $4,000 a year, and it's terrible in that area. So I'm just looking for any kind of help from anybody on this board that can help me come outside, look outside, and look like I live in an area where people live. Thank you very much for your time.
And thank you for your comments. Just let me explain how we handle our constituents when they come before this board. We will listen, and we will get the information for your question, and we'll respond to you in writing within the next week.
It will be greatly appreciated in the area of South Orange Avenue and it's Grove Street.
Okay, very good.
Thank
we
you.
will respond to your questions. And the Gary, we have everything, you have all the information. And thank you again for coming before the board. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak? Please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Your name, address, and affiliation, I'm sorry.
My name is Tyke Hall, and I've been driving around Newark and Irving. I've been riding around the city of Irvington and Newark, and I noticed all of these different signs. They call them eyesores, and they put up so many signs on utility poles and trees, and saying that they buy junk cars and that they buy houses. And when I ride through towns like Maplewood and South Orange or Livingston or Short Hills, I don't see it in those towns, and I don't think that they would allow it out there. And I also notice in like different areas in Irvington and Newark, I see on the side of the street there's black garbage bags, and it looks like nobody never come out there and pick them up. And they've been doing a lot of illegal dumping, and I think they should start putting surveillance cameras in different areas so they could catch the people that's doing all this illegal dumping and putting these signs up. And even with this voting thing too, it looked real crazy out there. And they putting up all of these signs telling you who they want you to vote for, and I don't see it going on in none of the suburban areas. And the Irvington and Newark look disgusting. And they need to, and I don't think I'm going to be voting anymore either. The only way I'm going to vote is if I move into a town like maybe Maplewood or Hoboken, New Jersey, or something where they take care of the city at. I don't want to vote for nobody else that's putting their name on these ballots. I won't be exercising my right to vote no more as long as I live in these poor sections. And that's it.
Again, thank you for your comments and your opinion. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people agree with you on the way Newark and Irvington look with the signs, but we will respond to you. We'll let you know exactly what's going on in the cities and if there are any ordinances that say that you should not be putting up political signs or any other signs.
They do
And
have
we'll-
the city of Newark and Irvington. They have the city.
Right,
voting.
but we will send that information to you. We'll tell you where you can go to follow up on your complaint
And
and
they
your
need to
concern.
also contact their own that Savard Justice
Okay,
campaign.
I know. I normally don't go back and forth. I just wanted to let you know that we will respond to you in writing, and we will give you the information you need that you can, and where you should go to make that type of complaint. And again, thank you so much for your concerns for your city. Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the audience who would like to come before the board? If there's no one else, Madam Clerk? Yes, Freeholder Clark?
I would just request a point of personal privilege, if I might, just for a moment.
Is it in reference to the response?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, not so much a response, but, well, something that I would like to make a suggestion.
Okay, we can do that at the end when I ask for freeholder comments.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping that we could do it, because just in case Miss Mary has to leave.
Okay, but we will,
Okay.
we're going to respond to her in writing. Whatever your concerns are, it will be on the record, and we will make sure that your concerns and your response to the Freeholder Board will be stated in our response to her in writing.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to, no further, do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak at this time? Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any topics of discussion?
Madam President, we have none.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to, ordinance number, on public hearing on ordinance number O-2014-00003. Please read it.
Public hearing ordinance number O-2014-00003, bond ordinance providing for the improvement of Essex County College and by the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $2,500,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,250,000 bond or notes of the county and $1,250,000 bonds or note of the county entitled to the benefit of Chapter 12 of the laws of New Jersey of 1971 for financing such appropriation.
Okay, I hereby declare the public hearing on ordinance number O-2014-00003 open. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment for or against this ordinance, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record. And you have 3 minutes to speak. Madam Clerk, let the records show that there's no one wishing to speak on this ordinance. Mr. McInerney, do you have any comments on this ordinance?
None that weren't already issued at last week's meeting.
Okay, very good. Freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? No questions, no comments, freeholders? Okay, do I have a motion and second to close the public hearing on ordinance O-2014-0003, and it's moved by Freeholder Vice President Sebo. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Okay, do I have the same mover and second to approve the ordinance? Yes? Okay, no further comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo?
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's go to the added starter, the added agenda addendum, and that's resolution number 51. You want to, Madam Clerk, we're voting on this tonight, right?
No.
We not?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. I think we are.
Yes.
It's showing as agenda addendum, and I just wanted to make sure that we're voting on all of the items on that we are
Madam
hearing this
President,
evening.
you are correct. I
Thank you.
apologize.
Okay, let's continue. You can read Resolution 51 into the record, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 51, County of Essex Professional Services regarding Ras Baraka versus Francis Abadado, Ababato, and Lee Fisher, Commissioners of the Essex County Board of Elections, Genova Burns, Giatomasi, Webster, April 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014, $30,000 agreement.
Okay, wrap up, Mr. Shiela. You want to explain this resolution?
Yes, Madam President. It might be easier if I have County Counsel, Mr. Paganelli, explain this resolution.
Okay, very good. Mr. Paganelli, will you please come to the microphone? And can give us as much information as you can. Is my understanding, is this a case ongoing case, or is just, could you explain what this is all about?
Sure. Madam President, James Paganelli from the Office of County Counsel. This was a lawsuit initiated by mayoral candidate Ras Baraka against two Board of Election Commissioners, Ms. Adebato and Mr. Fisher, both county employees, quite frankly. Mr. Baraka sought their removal from the Board of Elections as commissioners because he felt as though their endorsements of the other candidate in the race disqualified them to be Board of Election commissioners. He got an order to show cause, which was returnable today, and in front of Judge Vina, the complaint was dismissed.
It was dismissed? So, may I ask then, we don't need to vote on this resolution since it was dismissed, or would we need to vote on it just in case it goes to another level?
Yeah, I think there's two issues there, Madam President, through you. One is, we already had it in front of the board, and while I don't think it'll ever hit $30,000, I didn't want to withdraw it because I didn't want the board to ever think I was playing some type of a game with them. So I would ask that the board still consider it and still approve it. I don't know if that decision will be appealed, so I'd like to have the flexibility, but I don't think it's going to go above the 30. Things are pretty cut and dry today in front of Judge Vina.
Very good. Okay, freeholders, the floor is open for questions, comments on Resolution 51 for the professional services for attorneys Genova, Burns, Giantomasi, and Webster. Question?
Through you,
Okay.
Madam President.
Freeholder,
This is a not
Luciano
to exceed
Burns.
30,000.
Yes, Madam President, through you, it's a not to exceed 30.
And through you, Madam President, for you, Mr. Paganelli, you recommend outside counsel for this case? This isn't something that you think that the county should address in-house?
After, Madam President, through you, after discussions with the administration, we felt it best to go to outside counsel on this matter. As a freeholder knows, and I think everybody here knows, I take things very personally. So I would like to fight every fight, but, you know, once playing sports a long time ago, you know, if your coach felt as though somebody else would be better to run a certain play, you put that other player in, and I'm a team player. And I don't think you could find anybody more qualified than Mr. Genova, who handled this matter personally at the $150 rate that we had. So yeah, I'm fully supportive of going to outside counsel.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Madam
Very
President.
good. Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Thank you. I have a statement I'd like to make. I've said before, I was on the Board of Elections for approximately 6 years, and there are Republicans who are appointed by law and Democrats who are appointed by law. They are suggested by the Democratic chair and the Republican chair of Essex County, and then approved by the governor. No person who has ever served on the Board of Elections has ever refrained or been kept from endorsing or for being for any candidate. However, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the work of the Board of Elections, because on the Board of Elections, you count the absentee ballots and so forth. It's not where you can do something that's a problem in terms of someone's election. I know Angelo Genova well, and he's an expert when it comes to election law, and I'm very happy that he is handling this case, and I'm happy that it's been dismissed at this point. It never should have been brought to court, and I'm glad it's been dismissed, and I hope that it will go no further. And I very much would like to support this resolution.
Okay. Freeholder Johnson.
Yes. Madam President, through you, no disrespect to Mrs. Adebato or Lee B. Fisher, but when it comes down to things of this nature, you know, here in our county, we have had some issues in the past with tampering with voting rights and things of that nature. And some people have been penalized and things for it. I just see it myself personally, this is just me personally, that if they are working on a board of that nature and then they're endorsing somebody, I mean, I kind of see a little conflict. Maybe there's not a conflict, but I don't see it as, you know, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to agree to approve the contract for that, but it doesn't always sit well when you're handling absentee ballots and things of that nature, because there's a way of things getting out of proportion, not to say that they are. And I'm not blaming anybody, because I don't need no court cases against me saying that I'm claiming that they're cheap.
Okay. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Let me just say that I think the lawsuit was brought up for political reasons, and we can't, you know, we can't take that out of the equation. Obviously, a lot of politics in play, but you know, but we as citizens have alienable rights, and one of those rights is the right to vote and who support whoever we want to support. And any person, regardless of their professional capacity and their capacity to do the right job, should be allowed to have their alienable rights respected. Thank you.
Very good. Do we have a freeholder? So both hands go up at the same time. I'll go with Freeholder Clark, and then I'll come back to you, Freeholder Gill.
While I concur that everyone has a right to support whomever they'd like to support, I think that when one is operating in a nonpartisan or bipartisan environment, that it could conceivably raise the suggestion of impropriety. And oftentimes it may not necessarily be that, but sometimes what we strive for in every political environment is to avoid the appearance, even the appearance of anything that might be weighted one way or the other, particularly if it's coming from an area or a venue that should be nonpartisan. One of the reasons you have the balance in that area is so that it's not weighted one way or the other. It's like with the courts. That's why the courts, you have justices who are of both parties who are seated. But also that's why judges and justices and people who have to make decisions refrain from making outward, choices. I mean, everybody has a choice of who they want to support, but sometimes we refrain from making outward choices for that very reason. Because if I have to now make a decision over something, and I've already indicated that my choice is here, it might give people, or make a person wonder, well, am I going to get a fair shake? And that's what you don't want to happen. You don't ever want a person to think or to feel, and you don't ever want it to be the case, actually, that someone's not getting a fair shake. You really want it to be as impartial as possible. So, I mean, I understand why the concern was raised, and obviously it was dealt with in court. You said already, and the judge dismissed it. Correct, Mr. Paganelli?
Madam President, through you, yes.
So it's actually a non-entity at this point in time, right?
It's dismissed, Madam President. Whether or not there's appeals, we'll have to wait and see how things go.
So, I mean, whatever costs we've incurred up to this point, we obviously pay, and we don't need to incur any more costs going forward until if or when there's any kinds of appeals. There may not be any. I mean, it might be done, over with. So whatever costs we're on the hook for, we pay. But I don't know that we need to go forward with it. I mean, it's kind of like hanging a dangling participle out there waiting to see if another part of the sentence is going to be written. We already know what the verdict is. The verdict is it's dismissed, so it's not on the radar screen anymore.
Freeholder Gill?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a quick couple of questions. Just want to make sure I understand. Through you, Madam President, the county represented the board of election commissioners in this lawsuit, and just quickly reading what just in the published reports this evening about the adjudication of the case, there were a couple of different issues raised by the campaign which brought this suit, including whether this was a violation of state law, whether this was a violation of state ethics law, and whether this was a violation of a violation of our county ethics. And forgive me, I'm not using the correct legal term, but so I guess was the representation provided from Genova on all of those issues, or was this broken out? Because there's a state issue here and a county issue, and was it bifurcated, or was it all just one case?
Madam President, through you, there was one case. The Genova firm represented the defendants in response to all the allegations brought in the complaint.
Okay. And through you, Madam President, the judge based his decision on an advisory opinion from the Attorney General's office from 1989. Has this specific issue been raised before with in nonpartisan races with board of election members endorsing candidates? I can't imagine that this is the first time that this issue has ever been raised. I'm just curious why there was no case, why he based it on an advisory, and this is more of the legal question, why he based it on an advisory opinion, because in the opinion he did say that the superintendent of elections cannot endorse in these races, but that the board of election members by their very nature are political appointments. The very nature of a board of election member is completely political. Therefore, therefore they have the right to participate in the political process in any way that they see fit. My only concern, and I'm going to support, obviously, the defense. My only concern is, and I know this is probably a tough question, like, do you think they're going to push this forward, and they could potentially appeal this if they wanted to in this decision? So what's your opinion on that?
Madam President, through you, I don't know what they may decide to do.
Right.
I think Freeholder Gill hit the nail really on the head with regard to the Board of Elections, the commissioners there. They are nominated by their party chairs.
That's right.
The governor commissions the appointment. So by law, there are 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. The judge relied on the opinion that we provided to him, which was an older but still firmly solid on the law opinion from the Attorney General's office that said these people, by their very nature, are political people, and they're going to do endorsements, and they're going to be part of the political process, unlike the superintendent. So I think the law is very clear here. So I would hope that there's not any further proceedings. If the Baraka campaign felt that it was an issue that needed to get fleshed out, maybe that's why they did it. So I don't know what they'll do. As soon as I know, obviously I'll work through Michael Parlavecchio, who's been kind of shadowing this with me, and he'll, I'm certain, of advise leadership of the board as to next steps if there are any.
Very good. Thank you. Yes, I'll come back to you, Freeholder Owens.
And this was up
Freeholder
to
Gill
this was up to
continue.
30,000. Meaning we don't know yet, but this is to authorize up to potentially 30,000 for the entire.
Right, and Madam President, through you, it's a not to exceed.
Okay.
But again, these matters are fast because you have election days coming up. And so when parties go in for order to show causes, you have very short turnaround times. And it's only fair to both the Baraka campaign and the other candidates, whoever they may be, that you have a quick turnaround. So this has been a very narrow window. And so I don't anticipate the bills getting anywhere near 30. And certainly I can provide Mr. Parlavecchio through your office with a final accounting once we figure out is there an appeal and things like that to what the number actually came out to be.
Yes, Freeholder Owens.
Well, my question-
Did you continue, did you complete your question,
Gill is
Freeholder
still-
Gill?
I'm
Are you
done.
good?
Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Freeholder Owens?
Madam President, to our attorney, isn't this not a state problem, more so than a county problem? I mean, I understand that the state would have to make judgment on that, because if every other part of the counties are doing the same thing, it would seem like the only way you could resolve it, that every county would have to be the same if it's state level, or is this particularly just county, it has nothing to do with any other municipalities?
Madam President, this is a, through you, this is a county by county issue, because that's who controls the Board of Elections. The reason why we stepped in to defend these 2 individuals was because they're really county employees. They're, we pay them, they're our employees. There may be an issue that we may think about, in terms of engaging the Attorney General's office on their stance in this particular matter. I'd rather not speak to that prospect in public session, because the AG, I believe, should have played a role here. But in the end, again, because you're dealing with narrow windows of time, and because you're dealing with the removal of county employees, we took upon the representation. The last thing I would want, is for me to kind of foster something off on the state, and now we're both waiting for each other, and meanwhile, you're getting closer and closer to an election, and I don't want to have any problems that the county could avoid in an election in any municipality, village, township, or city in this county. Whether we have issues with the AG, because maybe they should have played a role, that's something that I think we're going to have to explore, but I would do that in closed session rather than open session, because that may involve other legal issues.
Okay, thank you. Just let me make one comment. I've listened to all the freeholders, and this case, this particular resolution is dealing with whether or not we will agree to have the funds of $30,000 in place just in case there's appeal, since we've been informed that the case was dismissed. The judge heard the case, and I'm sure the judge has more insight on these type of cases than we would have, and we are not to judge or make a decision. The judge dismissed the case probably based on the information or the merit on the case. I'm sure that when the commissioners accept positions like this, the state they have to have, I don't know if you take an oath or what it is, but I'm sure there must be some guidelines onto what you can do and what you can't do. And listening to the questions and the response, it appears that this is the commissioners they're political, and they have a right to endorse. This is not the first time that commissioners have endorsed candidates. Ever since I've been around, I've always seen commissioners endorsing candidates. Of course, we understand what's happening in the city of Newark, and we can understand what's going on. So I would think that the freeholders, it's not something for us to get involved with. It went to court. The judge dismissed it. If the other side decide that they want to appeal it, they can appeal it. But what we have to do is make sure we have legal representation for our employees, and that is something that we should do. In my opinion, that's what we are doing here tonight. We are just approving the funds to have the Board of Election members be represented through the county. Yes, Mr. McInerney.
Madam President, this amount will be encumbered under the line item which it's being funded through. If it's not necessary, then those funds will be unencumbered, and that line item will open up in terms of having available cash, either for other contracts or for transfers at the end of the year.
Okay. So the board is there's no problem with the board voting on this contract based on where the money will be coming from?
No, there's a certification of funds. The funds are there. They may not necessarily be expended. If they're not expended, then the funds will be unencumbered, and that $30,000 will be freed up in that line item for either use in other areas that are required in professional services, or for cancellation at the end of the year, or for transfer in other areas after November 1st where those funds might be needed.
Because the funds are, what you're saying to us is the funds are there, we would just vote to expend them at the end of the year. If we don't expend them, we can put it in other line items.
Yeah, it's just a normal course of what happens in the budget. I'm just making the statement that just because we're voting on this contract doesn't mean you're going to spend it. If there's other parts of this litigation that requires you to spend, you will. If not, then the funds will be available, will be unencumbered, and the funds will be available for other use and/or cancellation or transfer.
Very good.
Madam President, just to, so I'm sure that the record is clear, some part of the $30,000 will be spent.
No, I understand.
Work has been done to date, so as Freeholder Clark indicated for everybody before, some part of the 30,000 will be spent. My hope is that this matter is fully and finally concluded today, so there's no more bills. I'll pay whatever part of the 30 I think is appropriate, and then what Mr. McInerney is indicating is that ordinarily what we do is then we cash out, we close out the remainder of that encumbrance, and then whatever the residual is over what we pay will return back to my line item. And as soon as I know the final bill, I'll give a report through your council to you, so you could share with the board, so you could just see what the final costs for this were.
Okay, just another question, final question for me. If there's an appeal to the case, I'm sure this $30,000 would not be enough. You would have to come back to the board, right?
Madam President, through you, I would be certain that 30 would be enough.
Okay.
But if it's not, obviously, I would have to come back to the board and ask for additional
Very good.
dollars.
Okay. All right, additional questions, freeholders, before I ask for a motion? No further questions. Do I have a motion and a second? Freeholder Vice President Sebo motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. No additional questions, comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo,
Yes.
Freeholder Owens,
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano,
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson,
Yes.
Freeholder Gill,
Yes.
Freeholder Clark,
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla,
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson,
Yes.
Freeholder Beasley is absent. So
Okay,
moved.
let's move to resolution number 1. Let's go back to do the agenda. And Madam Clerk, this is our board meeting, and for the visiting of for those that's visiting us in the chambers tonight, this evening, and for the viewing audience, this is our board meeting. We will be voting on items we discussed at our last meeting, so you might see us running through the agenda rather fast. It's because most of these items we have addressed already, and it might, we will ask for questions in case there's additional questions that need to be asked in addition to what we discussed last week. So, Madam Clerk, we're going to let's take resolution 1, 2, and 3 together, and 4.
There's no 4.
And you can, I'm sorry, 15. 1, 2, 3, and 15. Thank you.
Okay.
You can read them into the record.
Resolution 1, County of Essex Extraordinary Unspecifiable Services to administer, investigate, and adjust workers' compensations claims, PMA Management Corporation, 1-year renewal option, $129,950 agreement. Resolution 2, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Senior Services, approval of the sublease operation agreement for the 5310 vehicles between the County of Essex and East Orange General. Resolution 3, Department of Corrections, approval of shared services agreement between the County of Hudson and the County of Essex for the provision of supervision and security by Essex County for Hudson County inmates, detainees in the secured medical unit at East Orange General Hospital. Resolution 15, 2014 county budget insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and a cash match from the Capital Fund for Multi-Park Improvements, Green Acres, Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs, $100,000.
Okay, freeholders, any questions or comments on resolutions 1, 2, 3, and 4?
And 15.
I keep saying, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, and 15. Sorry about that. No additional questions, comments, freeholders? And we're taking 1, 2, 3, and 15 together. Do I have a mover and second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Freeholder Johnson. No additional questions or comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Let's take resolutions 16, 17, 18, and 19 together. Freeholders, do I have a motion and second?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Would you like me to read it in the record?
No, we can read that. We can read all 4 into the record.
Okay. Resolution 16, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Contract Award to Zenith Construction Services Incorporated, the lowest responsible and responsible bidder for Branchbrook Park Old Reservoir Wall Stabilization amount not to exceed $642,500. Resolution 17, County of Essex Professional Services to provide the production of entertainment services for 2014. LaGuardia and Associates, date of award to December 31st, 2014. Amount $154,250. Agreement. Resolution 18, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, authorization to use the Essex County Recreation and Open Space Trust Fund to fund the Hilltop Reservation Master Plan in the amount not to exceed $58,100. Resolution 19, County of Essex Professional Services to provide professional services and technical services for the preparation and creation of a master plan for Hilltop Reservation. CME Associates, $58,100 agreement.
Okay, freeholders, do I have a motion and second to take Resolution 16, 17, 18, and 19 together? Moved by Freeholder Vice President Sebo. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Second by Freeholder Luciana. Question, comments, freeholders on 16, 17, 18, 19? No questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Let's take 2021. You read it into the record, please.
Resolution 20, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Contract Award to the 6 lowest responsive and responsible bidders per item on a unit cost basis to furnish and deliver pesticides, fertilizer, grass seeds, and sod products. 1-year agreement, amount not to exceed $240,000. Resolution 21, County of Essex, professional services to provide website upgrade, development, hosting, and maintenance consulting services. Iris Communications, LLC, $59,700 agreement.
Okay, freeholders, do I have a motion and a second
I'll
to
move
take
it.
20 and 21 together? Moved by Vice President Sebo. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Owens. Question, comments, freeholders on 20? Question, comments on 21? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay. All righty, let's go to with 22 through 27, and we'll read it into the record, and I'll ask to take those resolutions together.
Resolution number 22, Department of Public Works Division of Building and Grounds Contract Award to Total Fire Safety LLC to provide maintenance, testing, inspection of fire protection systems and equipment. 2-year extension, option, amount not to exceed $237,400. Resolution 23, Department of Public Works Division of Building and Grounds Contract Award to ABM Janitorial Services Northeast Incorporated to provide janitorial services at various county buildings. 1-year contract extension, option, amount not to exceed $1,435,779.56. Resolution 24, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Contract Award to Environcon LLC, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the installation of 3 rooftop HVAC units at Cody Arena, amount not to exceed $97,000. Resolution 25, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Contract Award to TechCon Contractors, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to provide for a children's garden at Branchbrook Park, amount not to exceed $254,267. Resolution 26, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Federal Aid Reimbursement Agreement for the Project Park Avenue and 4th Street, City of Newark, Essex County, $541,070. Resolution 27, Department of Public Works Division of Engineering Federal Aid Reimbursement Agreement for the Project Park Avenue and High Street Park Avenue and Glenwood Avenue, cities of Orange and East Orange, Essex County, $719,382.
Okay, freeholders, we're taking 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 together. Do I have a motion and a second?
I'll move it.
Moved by freeholder Bobadilla. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by freeholder Owens. Freeholders, question, comments on 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. No additional question, comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Vice President Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Beasley, absent Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's take Resolution 9. Please read it. 29, rather.
Resolution 29, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Purchasing, Contract Award with Gone Law Books to provide law books and periodicals 2-year agreement, amount not to exceed $150,000.
Okay, freeholders, do I have a motion and second to take Resolution 29?
I'll move it.
Moved by freeholder Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by freeholder Clark. Discussion, freeholder Owens.
Could that kind of explain that? Frank?
Ralph, you want to explain Resolution 29?
Yes, Madam President, as you know, these are law books as well as periodicals that are utilized by the prosecutor's office, county council, your freeholder council staff. It's basically for attorneys' use.
You good? Okay. Very good.
Madam President,
Freeholder, Mr. McInerney?
are these digitized now or on CD, or are we still dealing with the hardcover?
I'm not certain. I know we do have books. Whether they come in digital format, I can check, but I know we do have books. Yes.
Thanks, I'm just curious.
Okay, additional comments, freeholders? If not, I have a mover and second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley, absent Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's go to resolutions, commendations, and that would be resolutions 30 through 49.
And Madam President, resolution 44,
41.
44, and 45.
Okay, they were adjourned to the next meeting? What? Oh, you didn't have all the information on it? Okay, so, let's look at, let me exclude that. Let's go back then to 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, we adjourning 44 and 45. We'll go to 46, 47, and 48, and 49. Do I have a motion? I'll move the resolution. Do I have a second? Second by Luciano. Freeholder Luciano. Okay, no further questions or comments on the resolutions, commendations. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Vice President Siebel.
Yes.
Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Clark.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla.
Yes.
Freeholder Beasley is absent. Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, the, Madam Clerk, the added starter was the only one that we had this evening, and we addressed that early on. we'll go to report of board committees. Do we have any reports from any of the committees? Legislative reports. Written communications. Unfinished business. New business. Now we go to the public comment session again. Do we have anyone from the public who would like to come before the freeholders this evening and make any comments? Please come to the microphone at this time.
Through you, Madam President, thank you. My name's Edward Wadu, citizen in Orange, New Jersey. For information, it seems we had some seniors from our program asking about Meals on Wheels. It seems that there's some kind of misunderstanding. In the booklet that they received from the Essex County Senior Services, that they had it Meals on Wheels was in the book for the seniors to call in a number. And when they called the senior citizens thing, they said that it's not their program. And when we checked with the Meals on Wheels, they said that they were 2 years behind. They got a 2-year waiting list and that they had no food. But you could get a meal every day for $8 if you would call. We would like to have information on what is the real deal?
Okay, I just need to know who, when you say we, so we'll know who, should we respond to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Weequahic Park Sports Authority, ma'am.
Okay, Weequahic Park Sports.
Conservancy of Weequahic Park.
This is the Weequahic Park Sports Authority
Yes,
that we
ma'am.
should respond to, Mr. Sheila and Madam Clerk.
Yes, thank you.
And as always, we'll respond within the week. Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak at this time? Yes, please come back to the microphone and state your name again and your address and affiliation.
It's Taki Hall at 81 Union Avenue
Could you push the mic up just a little bit to you?
in
Thank you.
Irvington, New Jersey. And I made a complaint with in the township of Irvington about 299 Knott Avenue. It's an abandoned house, and I see a lot of garbage on that property, and I want them to send somebody out there to clean it up, and they just ignored me, and that garbage is still down. And I found out that Bank of America is actually the owner of that property, and they haven't done anything to get them out there to go clean that property up. And it looked disgusting.
Okay, again, we will respond to you to tell you where you might go to have your complaint addressed if it's not the county property, or issue, something that the county could take care of.
Yeah.
Okay?
And they need to also, on Knott Avenue, on that same street, they need to get some people out there to repair that whole street, because it's too many potholes. And it's been like that for years. And they need to get the people out there. I've seen a couple of them junk car signs up on those utility poles. They need to get those people to go out there and take those signs down. And they need to put some surveillance cameras in that area too.
Okay, yeah, we heard your complaint about the signs. We'll respond to that, and we'll also respond to the property on Ninth Street to see if it's something that belongs to the, if that piece of property.
It belongs to Bank
or
of
the road
America.
belongs.
299 Knott Avenue.
Wait, just, I'll let you, you have to finish your comments first, and then I'll tell you how we will be able to respond to you. But we won't respond to you while you're at the mic. That's not the policy of this board.
Okay.
Okay? But we will take down all of your complaints, all of your questions, and within a week, you will hear from us.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you again for bringing your concerns to this board.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have anyone else who would like to comment?
Thank you. Like I said, my name is Mary Hogan. I live at 34 Dassing Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. And this is a concern about Vailsburg Park. I see a lot of things about the park. We really need someone to come in and overview our park. Some of the swings are broken. There's so many tree limbs that surround the park. Even if they just blacktop or just paint the walk that we have around the park, because there's a lot of tree limbs around, debris in that park, and we really need a good cleanup. If we had maintenance on it, when the swing's about to break, somebody need to take a screwdriver or something to make sure that it doesn't happen, because we don't have that ongoing maintenance in that area. I admit they have done a little something there. It looks better than it did, but it's not as good as it could be. So I would like to have somebody, if they could, come out and just look at it, walk around the park. Even one of you board members, come around, look at the park, walk around and see how it look, and see if this is some place that you would want to bring your children or your family to just sit back and relax in the park. And I thank you so much again for your time.
And thank you. Ralph, there's a request for us to bring a report back to the board, and when we address the constituent, and also let us know exactly the cleaning schedule of the park, and what is, and if there's any additional maintenance that needs to be addressed in the park. And if you could just give that report back to the board within a week or two. Okay, thank you. And in the meantime, we'll send that report to the young lady that just brought it to our attention. Thank you again for bringing your concerns to this board. We always listen and respond. Thank you. Let's move. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak at this time? None? Okay, let's go into our freeholder comment session. Freeholder Clark.
Yes, to Miss Mary out there, known you for a minute. It's the first time I've ever really seen you come and address the board, so obviously it's something that's a concern, and a big one. And I know that what we did as a county, as I recall, and through you, Madam President, to Mr. Chilella. Mr. Chilella, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but what we did was just try to straighten Grove Street out a little bit. As we came across Grove Street, try to take a little bit of that sharp S out. And yes, South Orange Avenue is indeed a county road, but the county doesn't have jurisdiction of the buildings or anything like that are on either side of it. We have jurisdiction for the actual roadway itself. And I know last year, I think it was, Freeholder Johnson sponsored a cleanup, and Mr. Chilella and myself and others were out there, and we started down by the hospital. And you were out there too, Miss Mary. We started at the hospital and worked our way all the way up past that location that you're talking about. What you're talking about is before you come underneath the underpass. So, Madam President, my suggestion was that, perhaps we could write a letter from the board saying that, there's been a request. However, we don't have jurisdiction for what's supposed to be happening in that area, because my understanding was the reason they tore down the old Pabst Blue Ribbon building and everything and supposedly abated the property was because they were going to build something there. And so the question now, because citizens are asking us, and we don't have any jurisdiction there, the question then has to be, what is the plan? And perhaps there needs to be like a little community meeting or something at Speedway to at least let people know what they can expect, because it's been like that for a minute now, and it's affecting your property values. And as it relates to the park, that would be a great idea. Perhaps Freeholder Beasley and myself, which kind of share a little bit of that area together. We could do a walkthrough with Mr. Salvante or whatever. But so that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because Ms. Mary, both Freeholder Beasley and myself are leaving the board at the end of this year. So we're not running for re-election, and so it will actually be passed on to someone else, and actually Madam President as well. But I know Madam President is probably going to put it in queue if I know her, she's going to put it in queue to make sure that it doesn't fall by the wayside. And Mr. Chilella, I know that you won't let it fall by the wayside either. One of the things I was wondering if you might know right now off the top of your head, you may not, is where Vailsburg Park is on that list of parks to have things done, renovations. You don't know? Okay, because I know that it would be part of the the master plan and that sort of thing. So as soon as we find out, Ms. Mary, we'll kind of let you know. If necessary, Madam President, we could hold a recreation committee meeting if you think that we need to. But why don't we do the
Let's wait for the administration to give us the report. He's going to give us the status of the condition of the park, and I'm sure freeholders that want to go after we receive the report to go and check, and then once he give us a status on it, then they can tell us how they plan to correct the problem.
The other thing, if I might make another suggestion, Mr. Chilala, does Vailsburg have a conservancy?
Yes, I think they do. I think they do.
Maybe I can.
Through you, Madam President, I'm not certain if that conservancy is still active or viable, but I will check that.
The reason I asked that question is because, just so you know, ma'am, the parks that have active conservancies have a tendency to really get the work done because they have members of the community who are actively working side by side with the county to kind of get it done. So that might help too, Madam President, if the conservancy could get a little bit more active and do some things. So thank you very much, Madam President.
Madam President, may I help Carol out?
Oh, before I conclude my remarks, everybody can be a little happy today.
We happy.
Might sound crazy. No, but I just wanted to say that we had a great event tonight. We had an outstanding event.
Great.
And everybody participated. And I'm thrilled about that. And you all had an opportunity to get in touch with your inner child tonight. Everybody had a chance to get in touch with their inner child. But more importantly, did you see the faces of those 9 youngsters standing there representing every facet of Essex County? Young men, young women, 7th grade through 12th grade, African American, Hispanic, Caucasian. That was Essex County that we saw tonight in the faces of those children and in the faces of their parents. It was absolutely stupendous and fabulous, and it made me very happy. So thank you very, very much for us ending on a high note, Madam President. So that's it for me. Thank you, members of the board.
Okay, Freeholder Vice President Siebold, I'll come back to you.
Thank you. I had my hand up, Carol, and you got called first before I could get called. And you stole a big part of what I was going to say, because tonight at 5 o'clock we had the 11th Annual Essex County Celebrates Youth Program. And I think everyone viewing tonight needs to know, Freeholder Clark, that you started this program 11 years ago. And it was an absolutely super program tonight. It was just wonderful. You did a superb job, and I want to thank President Blondie Watson for supporting you in this effort through all these years. What will happen when you're not here?
You guys will carry on, we're sure.
But you did such a wonderful job with this, and I just wanted to go on the record and make sure everyone knows that Freeholder Carol Clark was absolutely superb.
Thanks.
Very good. I concur. Freeholder Johnson.
Now, I want to go back to the park issues there, back on the parks. There is a conservancy starting up in Vailsburg Park. Douglas Freeman and I had a chat last week about some people that lives around the park that were very much interested, and he's going to bring them together to get them started. Secondly, at Vailsburg Park, we've been trying to get the bathrooms in the house done, because when you go into the park, I was just in there last weekend, and I was in there the weekend before last, because they got a lot of baseball, softball going on in there, and then the kids in the backside. It's the smell of urine because of the bathrooms haven't been working in quite some time. They did the roof already, am I right, Mr. Chilella? Yeah, I put a new roof on, but now they have to clean it out and do the inside, do new stalls and everything on the inside. And as far as the swings and stuff being fixed, usually about in June, somebody calls me to come in there, and we usually look at that. And Dan has been good last year. He came, he tightened up all the swings, put new stuff down. So usually in about June is when the parents and everybody start coming at you about the park there. And also, while we're talking about parks, we're also at Westside Park doing a lot of work down at Westside Park. Westside Park, from what I understand, is just rumbling right now, but they are planning on taking down that old structure and rebuilding a whole new structure there.
Who's doing that?
The county.
County, oh, okay. Okay. Okay, Freeholder Owens?
I'll be last. But we spoke about the young woman and the gentleman who spoke about the cleanliness of South Orange Avenue, which is, in my opinion, deplorable. It's filthy most of the time. And I know because I live in South Orange and I ride up South Orange Avenue all the time, and I get very disgusted looking at it. Now, I know that the county is responsible for the streets, but the merchants,
Are responsible for
I feel, are unresponsible to the community by letting this filth be sitting in their areas, in front of their stores. There's piles of garbage, I mean, just unbelievable piles of garbage that comes out of the stores. Now, if the city is not responsible, I mean, the county's not responsible, but the city is. And I think that we, as the county, should engross the city to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, as far as what the merchants do, and not allow that to be happening. That should not be, it shouldn't be that way. Because once you get past South Orange, you don't see that type of stuff. And the merchants down there, they come in and they come from everywhere else, and they come and they put their garbage all on the street, and they go home to their clean areas and leave that filth right where they're making their money at to live in these nice areas, but they're leaving their garbage on the streets where we have to ride by. I don't live there, but I ride by it every day.
Yes.
And I'd like to see if we have to put a letter to the county or to whoever we got from the county to the city, so that we stepped up to this particular problem, which I think is horrendous, this is something that our board should be in favor of doing, because it would help our city. It's what we need to be doing as a board. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from the freeholders? Freeholder Gill?
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to just take this opportunity to actually ask my freeholder aide, Bassie Naimi, to come up to the microphone, because I wanted to make an announcement. Bassie, who many of you have known, has been working with us now for quite some time, and was just recently offered and accepted a position with the National Office of Planned Parenthood.
Fantastic.
Working directly with Cecile Richards, who you might know is the daughter of the late governor of Texas, Governor Ann Richards. And I just wanted to publicly thank Bassie for everything that she's done. I'm hoping I'm not going to let you go too far, but for everything that she's done for the office. And wish her the best of luck. And I think it's just wanted to say her perseverance in pursuing a full-time position. Bassie has a bachelor's degree from Lafayette and a master's degree from the University of Edinburgh in Scotland.
Fantastic.
So it also shows you how tough that job market is.
Yes, that's
out
so
there
true.
as well. But again, Bassie, congratulations, and thank you not only for your work in my office, but your commitment to the people of this county and to this board. So best of luck.
And congratulations. Do you want to say a few words, please?
Hi. I don't really like being in front of mics, but First, I wanted to thank, obviously, everybody on the Freeholder Board for helping me for the few months that I've been here. All of you have been very kind and, great to work with, and great to help me out whenever I have any questions or, trying to get anything together for the Freeholder. And definitely, most importantly, want to thank Brendan for all of his work. I wouldn't have the position that I'm going to be taking on next week. I wouldn't have gotten that position without his help in the job search, and also his help over these last few months working with him and the experience that I've gotten. You guys know how Brendan is. He's a tough
He's
one.
a tough boss,
So,
yes.
so there's definitely there's no better experience with someone, a young person who's trying to make their way in the world and do better in advance can ever ask for than to work with someone like Freeholder Gill and with his great experience and talent. So just thank you to him for everything.
Very good. And congratulations from the entire board. Do we have any other comments, Freeholders, from the Freeholder Board? Did I hear something from someone else? No? Okay, just let me, before I make my final comments, I have a blurb for the agenda review process. I'm looking before leaving, and Carol, whatever I see that I can improve on before we leave, I've given the task to the Freeholder staff that there's some things that I want them to look into and start making some changes. And it's come to my attention that the time has come for the board to take a long look at revamping the way we do business as it relates to our agenda process. And this is the process by which the resolutions, ordinances, and contracts are presented from the administration and prepared by the office of the clerk and the board in an agenda format. It is important to note that a committee has not convened on this topic since 1978. And with that said, just like our county code had not been touched, and I think it was passed before 78.
30
And
years.
It was 30 years, and I took on that task to make sure that we brought the county code up to date. But with that said, I would like to suggest the creation of an agenda review process committee. And this committee will be comprised of the entire board. And some of the issues that will be addressed are how resolutions are brought before the board in comparison to the practices of other counties, the determination of what items are necessary to be attached with resolutions in the agenda package, a general review of the contracting process, because some of us don't really understand how the process works and how contracts are brought before this board, a reassessment of our order of business for our meetings per code of the county, to name just a few of interest. For this ad hoc committee to function well and be successful, it is essential that the department leaders in key roles be involved. And therefore, we ask in the participation and collaboration of Deborah Davis Ford, Office of the Clerk, Ralph Scialla, County Administrator, Jim Jorgensen, Director of Purchasing, Jim Paganelli, County Counsel, Michael Polivecchio, Freeholder Counsel, Mark Acker, County Treasurer, and Carmen Fernicola, Executive Assistant. And I will chair this committee. So if any questions or comments, just please contact me. I'll be happy and request that a resolution be prepared, Madam Clerk, and presented for this agenda review committee on the May 6th conference board meeting agenda. I think by doing this and putting things in place, it would make for a better understanding with the new freeholders coming on. They will understand how the agenda is prepared. And those of you that's left, you'll be able to comprehend and have the review process in place, so it'll be easier. So my goal before December, what is it, 31st?
Yes.
That we will be looking at in all of these areas, and where I can make improvements, I will certainly take on that task. So, and Carol, not tonight, you really did it. You had me crying. I don't get emotional. I only get emotional at home. Only my family see me cry. But it just hit me this evening with the kids, and it said something said, "Oh, you won't be with these children anymore. You won't be standing here any longer. This is your last time." And I just got so emotional that this was my last program with the kids. But I thank you again for bringing this to my attention. And you and I, sometimes it was just you and I at first with our kids, but I felt in my heart, and I know you did, that eventually it would grow, and it's grown to having 9 freeholders participate in the program today with our children, young children. So again, let me thank the staff for the work you did putting together a program like that today with 9 honorees, with all the kids and their parents and the freeholders. And you know what? We followed those scripts, didn't we? I just got out of line a little on the end. So I asked for permission to do that, though, right? Okay, but thank you guys again for all that you do for us as the Freeholder Board. You make us look good, and we thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Okay, just one last comment from me. Resolution number 1, the Freeholder comment session from our last meeting, that was April 16th. Freeholder Clark asked for information regarding subrogation values of workers' comp claims. That information was sent to the administration on the 23rd. We received the response on the 23rd, so Freeholder Clark, you should have that information in your package. Freeholder Watson requested information on the 2014 capital funds. That memo was sent to the administration on the 23rd. It should be in my package. I didn't have time to look today, the 23rd. And Mr. Wadu, from the Freeholder comment session from our constituents, Mr. Ed Wadu asked the administration to address the bathrooms at Weekway Park. The memo was sent to the administration on the 23rd. Response came back on the 23rd, and the letter was sent out to you today, Mr. Wadu. So for those of you that came before this board at our next meeting, I will read out your questions and how the response went back out to you. Okay? Thank you. Freeholders, to the administration, do we have any comments?
No, Madam.
Okay, and we have to tell our county exec he missed it. He would have been crying along with me. Okay, let me ask for a motion to adjourn, Freeholders.
Second.